Hey, this is Salo from Smart Electrical Solutions. Today we want to show you how to replace a switch to a dimmer. It's a very easy process and I hope you guys enjoy it. So if you have a normal switch and you want to replace it with a dimmer, it's quite simple. So once you pull the switch out of the wall, you're gonna have power and your switch lag, which is basically the wire going to the fixture, and you're gonna have your ground on the other side. If you're unsure which one is which, you can just use any kind of a simple tester and to figure out where power is coming from. This is one of the type of testers that could be used. If you use this type of tester, it has the two leads and you can put one of them on the ground wire, you know, the copper, and then the other one you can touch each of the screws and see when this shows 120 and the red light comes on. Once you identify the wire, you know, you can shut down the power and, you know, proceed to the next step. Or you can use one of the beeping testers, which we're gonna show a picture on the side. And once, same thing, you touch the wire and it should make a beeping sound. Once you get that sound, you know that that's your live wire, and you can either just identify with a piece of tape or just memorize which wire that is. And again, make sure you shut down the power prior to going to the next step. Once we identify the wire, the next step is just to remove all these cables. The dimmer that we're gonna use, just make sure that it matches whatever type of light you have. So if it's this one, can do incandescent, halogen, or LED and CFL. You want to make sure that your dimmer matches your light, or you're going to create some issues. Your light may be blinking or something else, and also that the number of bulbs will not exceed the wattage. So this is what the dimmer looks like. It has a little tail for the ground, and this one can be used as a single pole or a three-way. So it has three-way, meaning you can control it from two or more locations. So we have our three screws. So our next step is to simply use our two hot wires. So let's say that, you know, in this case we identified that this one was our hot, the one that's bringing power. You want to put that wire into the darker screw. So again, we follow the left to right process. And then for the ground, we're gonna have to use a wire nut. And you can just push it into the box. And these dimmers have, they tell you which side should be facing up. One thing I want to point out is the fact that this type of dimmer, each dimmer can be a little bit different. This one has the slider on the side. That doesn't change anything. But one thing that you got to realize is that, let's say you're using a LED recessed light, LED fixture. This knob on the left is, if your dimmer is at the lowest setting, how low you want the light to appear. So in some cases, depending on how much the light is drawing, if this is too far to the left, when you bring the dimmer all the way down, the light is actually going to turn it off. So I usually start from the lowest setting and I just bring it up until the light is just turns on. Once it just turns on, then that's my lowest setting, and then I can bring to 100% or down to that setting. And the other thing I want to point out is, if for some reason you're doing this where you have multiple switches, the side with the tabs facing the other switch has got to be broken or the plate won't fit. So if, for instance, we had a 2 or 3 gang box where we had multiple switches, you want to break those tabs facing that way. If the switch was on this side, you want to break these tabs so the plate actually fits. But just know that once you break the tabs on one side, you're going to lose some of the total wattage. So for instance, this is 600. Once you break one side, you drop it down to 500. Break the other side, drop down to 400. So just something for you to realize, because you don't want the lights to be drawing more than the dimmer can handle, or you're going to create some other issues. If that's the case, you can go up to the 1000 watt dimmer or equivalent. Hope this helps.